I recall Mr. Momodou Sabally. And I withdraw. Can you show Mr. Sabally BB50 and BB63, please? Let's start with BB50. Mr. Sabally, whilst you were Secretary General, you were signatory to a GNPC account with the ex-president.
Yes.
I'm going to show you this exhibit, which is BB50. And can I have BB50? And I'd just like you to confirm for the record. Okay, I'll just show you my copy. Can you show Mr. Sabally our copy? Could you confirm, Mr. Sabally, that is your signature?
Yes, that's my signature.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to show you BB63. With respect to withdrawals that were made from the GNPC account, let me just ask you, you are the Secretary General, what were the circumstances of the ex-president becoming signatory to this account?
One day he wanted to fire the then MD, Mr. Bayi. I advised him against it, but practically he said he did not trust the man. And I was able to convince him not to fire him, but he insisted that if the man stayed as MD, then the account has to move under the office of the president, and he was going to be a signatory.
Why did he explain why he did not trust the MD?
Well, he explained certain things that, to be honest, didn't make much sense to me, like the guy is part of Mambure Njai's boys. Then, of course, he had fallen out with Mambure. I was not convinced anyway, so all I tried to do was to save the guy's job, and by the grace of Allah, I was able to do that. But he insisted that he would not trust them with the accounts. It had to come under the office of the president, and he had to be part of the signatories.
But he didn't have any specific allegation of maladministration or
none
against Mr. Baji?
None.
So that was the only reason he told you he had for moving the account. Now I'll show you, as I said, part of this exhibit, which are the withdrawals. And on the 14th of August 2013, almost immediately after the change of signatory, instructions were sent to the manager Sky Bank Gambia Limited requesting the withdrawal of $2 million, which was signed by him and countersigned, well, I suppose you are two signatories, so which was signed by himself and yourself. Then subsequently, in respect of that $2 million, withdrawals were then made for $650,000, $150,000, another $650,000, and finally for $450,000 and $100,000. Now I'm going to show you these documents, and I would like you to explain to the Commission the circumstances. Can you show my copy to the witness, please? This is part of Exhibit BB, 63.
Yes, I see there are cash withdrawals and requests for bank transfers as payments to certain recipients.
Yes, let's talk about the cash withdrawal first. Cash withdrawals. This cash was withdrawn.
It was withdrawn, yes.
What happened to the cash?
It was handed over to the president, the former president.
Each one of them, each one of those cash withdrawals?
Yes.
Who handed them over and how was it handed over?
Well, the initial instruction, immediately he took over the account, was actually to close the account at Skybank and withdraw all the cash, and something we thought would have created a rupture in the entire financial system, because Skybank didn't even have the cash at hand then to make those payments. So we went back to him and tried to assuage him to let the account operate, but that the cash would be made available by the bank when he wanted it to be available. In fact, the bank found it very difficult to meet these requests, so occasionally they would send their tellers, or at least two staff who would come with their counting machine to State House, bring the cash, count it, confirm it in my presence. Usually the then Secretary to Cabinet, Nuha Toure, would be there, and then we'll hand over the cash to the former president.
Did he tell you why he wanted $2 million?
No, he didn't.
Okay. The cash was received in tranches?
Yes, raw cash.
Could you, well, they were received per tranche, let's say 650,000. What did he do with the cash?
I don't know what he did with the cash.
You can't tell us anything about what that cash was spent on?
Nothing.
Except that you handed over to him?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have that set of exhibits? Mr. Sabally, were you aware that the transfer to Mr. David Ford was in respect of the purchase of Dunes Hotel?
I remember the purchase of Dunes Hotel, and I know that it came from one of the accounts that were being handled at the presidency.
Can you tell us about what you know about the purchase of Dunes Hotel?
He wanted to purchased Dean's Hotel. What I remember is the then tourism minister, Fatoumata Diop, was instrumental in the process. And when the deal was about to materialize, the president gave instructions that we should pay from one of the accounts and that he would refund the money into that account.
Until you left, did he refund the money into the account?
Not to my knowledge.
We just need to understand the mindset, your mindset at the time he took this money from the account to buy a hotel. I'm sure you are aware that the hotel was bought in the name of Kadilai Family Farms.
Yes.
Yes, can you explain to us why, as Secretary General, you would sign instructions with him to do this, and if you did, why, what were the circumstances? We just want to understand.
It was very troubling for me, among other transactions, that those kind of things would happen, and I could not question it or stop it, and that even when I left office, some of these transactions kept bothering me.
What other assets did he buy whilst you were there?
This is the one I remember. There was a transaction relating to cars. You did ask me about that.
Relating to?
Cars.
Cars.
Cars that came in and went into State House. Some of them he gave to government institutions. The rest, I don't know how he used them. That was another set of transactions that went into assets. Apart from the last time you asked me also about a cash payment to Serin Tubandur, which was, as far as I remember, directed towards construction of some buildings in Kanilai. These are the main asset acquisitions I remember, or transfers relating to assets when I was in office.
Do you know about the John Deere tractors? Were you there when he bought, when Social Security paid for John Deere tractors?
John Deere, I think when it started, I was at the Finance Ministry. When I came into office, I presided over transactions that had to do with the acquisition of fire trucks through Oshkosh Corporation. This was a transaction that was started before I came in. I think he tried to indict the former SG Ndioguba for that, but when the NIA did their investigations, they concluded that Ndiogu did not do anything wrong. So on that report that was submitted to him, he instructed me to continue with that transaction, which I did. I later found out that Oshkosh had relations with the John Deere tractor acquisitions, and I started making findings, because what happened with some of these transactions was the state had paid monies towards these transactions and it was not completed, and some of our funds were hanging. I completed the Oshkosh transaction for fire tenders. The John Deere, all I did was fact finding. I could not reach any conclusions by the time I left office.
These are the fire engines that were supplied to civil aviation?
Yes.
And paid for by Social Security?
Yes.
Okay, the investigators are looking into that. But during the period of 1 year you were there, apart from the cars that I have mentioned and the Dunes Hotel, were there any other assets that he purchased?
I don't remember any other asset purchases during that period.
Mr. Sabally, we called you today with regard to JNPC because there are other accounts. We will require that you come back on Monday.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Wait for the chairman.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, there was just one transaction from JNPC I overlooked. There was a transaction for 100,000. There was a a standing order to be paying $100,000 to JFP Hospital Al-Weed Foundation. JFP Hospital Al-Weed Foundation. I'll just show it to you. What is the JFP Al-Weed Hospital Foundation?
I am not hearing the full name properly. Can I make reference to the document, please?
Okay, show him the transaction. It's part of the Exhibit 63 as well. 53.
This was a one-off.
It was a one-off.
It was a one-off.
Who are these? Who is this? What is this hospital and where is it?
It doesn't say hospital, it just says Jame Foundation.
It says JFP Hospital Al-Weed Foundation.
Okay, this one, there was a particular transaction that happened on this account. And when it happened, the officials at the foundation, the former president was very angry that there was a withdrawal from this account that had to do with his foundation. And he wanted to hold the officials of the foundation responsible.
Sorry, let me just explain that this amount came from the Gambia National Petroleum Company account.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to explain the cause of this particular transaction. So a withdrawal was done from this account, and he was trying to hold responsible the officials of the Jame Foundation.
Which account?
This particular JFP Hospital Al-Weed Foundation.
Okay. Where was the account?
It was domiciled in Trust Bank. So I did my findings and found out that the president himself had withdrawn this amount from the Trust Bank account without proper documentation. So I did verbal consultations with the management of Trust Bank, and when I established that, I went back to him to tell him that he was the one who withdrew the funds and not the management of the foundation, who were going to jail that very day. It was then that he explained that one of the, I think it's a Saudi princess, had donated this money to the foundation, and I think it was supposed to support the hospital, but he withdrew the funds. And that lady was supposed to come and visit, and if that visit happened and this money was not still in this account, it could create a problem. It was then that he decided that we should transfer funds from this GNPC account into this particular account to reimburse the funds that were withdrawn.
First, which management was there at Trust Bank that you spoke with?
Panjai was there.
Okay. Is this an hospital? Is it an existing hospital?
I think the funds, if I remember from my findings, the funds were supposed to be directed towards the construction of a hospital here. But it never happened.
There was never any hospital constructed?
No.
And is there any documentation regarding this hospital that we can find at the office of the president?
I would suggest maybe with the records of the Jame Foundation.
Might be something. Okay. That's all for today.
Very well, you may leave.
Thank you.
Yes, at this juncture we will rise and we'll be back at, at 12:15.